So we're here in the editor, and we're taking a look at the prairie that we just conducted some observation of, and it's very overcast in the morning, and there's a lot of water vapor in the air, and there's something going on in the tree line over here, and you know, as we approach this particular area, if you look, you can see there's something going on over here. Even at that distance, you can see there's some strange colorations, stuff looking weird. So I crop in, and what we're seeing is the way our camera that we were using interprets that water vapor in between it and, you know, the tree line. So my focal point is this tree line here, and the camera is picking up on a ton of water vapor in the atmosphere, and so that's why you're getting that, you're seeing it. But there's all kinds of weird stuff going on here, and there's movement, and we've got the right symmetry. But this individual, that when the camera begins to settle in and I come to a stop from my hike, we get this. Now, you can choose to ignore data like this at your own peril, because this is the exact corroboration that we seek, right? That's an immense Sasquatch. It's just that people seem to have trouble understanding that because they have achromatically colored skin, not monochromatically colored, achromatically colored. And there's a difference. They're not monochromatic, they're all colors by only being colorless. Achromatic is colorless, and that's what Sasquatch are, colorless. That's why they pick up every color. Just like this card. Watch this. See that white card? See how you can't even tell, right? That's what his white face is doing. The glow from the trees that you can't see, because you only see less than 1% of all available light, is bouncing off his face, changing it green. That's all it is. You can plainly see him there. Now, how did we arrive at that? Well, the footage started to clear up. We caught a clear spot. Uh-oh. There's just a little window here where we can actually see, and there's still water vapor everywhere. If you go outside of this, it's all water vapor. And it's causing a high degree of difficulty shooting with clarity in that tree line. But then suddenly, we catch a little window, and it's really only probably, I don't know, I would say that these frames right here are probably less than half a second. They're significant frames, though. You see, we got the eye area, we got the brow, and you can see the nose plainly. And in a few of the frames, you can actually see this dude's lip, like you get the edge of his mouth there. But back in this area, you can see that that's his mouth in there. And you're looking at it, it's a great piece of data. I mean, this was first thing in the morning. I haven't even finished breaking it down yet, but you can actually literally tell that there's other stuff in there moving too. All in here is all moving around. These are the creatures in this area. That's why we're in this area, guys. We study these creatures. So, but that's what it is. He's changing colors, and that is a very large individual. Let's take a look at, you know, possibility of size here. What are we looking at? He's right here. These pine trees, I would say this is approximately 15 feet right in here. Somewhere in here is 13 to 15 feet. Let's look at his head. Again, 13 to 15 feet. I think this individual is somewhere between 13 and 15 feet tall when he stands up. Of course, he's just laying down in the bushes, observing us the way he would if he was hunting. All right, so this is as we're walking away. You can see the clip there. There's somebody coming out to take a look. So Sean and I are on our way out after about an hour of shooting in the area, doing size comparisons, paying close attention to what's going on around us. And as we're leaving, I'm shooting behind me with the Osmo, and we get a real good look at one of the smaller creatures. So here he is changing colors. Check it out. Now he's gray. He definitely wasn't gray in this frame. Interesting, huh? That's the colorless people. They adopt all colors as they move through the forest and the light hits their faces. We are in the editor and we're looking at this creature that's back in this tree line here. You can see the creature's right in here, and there appears to be a small one with it, but you can see there's this sasquatch symmetry there. And again, you know, you can see what's going on. We've got the cheek area here, the eye. You can even see like the balls of the eyes in this immense creature's face. And in the footage, you can see this primitive face in here. This one appears to have darker skin. It's moving in there, and this is the second that Sean, look at the nostrils flared right here. See that? It's got that look on his face. It's got that. You can see the eye right here. Let's make an adjustment on this still frame, and let's take a look here, and let's get a little more detail. We've just got to wait for it to render for a second, and we can see there's all the right stuff is right there. Look at that shine coming off that nose right there. Look at that. That's that nose that we've heard about in so many different encounters. And here's the still frame with a little bit of adjustment where we can see the actual nostrils of this creature. It's flared. We've got the eye right here. The other eye's got a little bit of a squint on it, and I believe that's because this is the direction the sun's coming from. So he's got a little bit of an angle on his face, but we can see him in there. You can see that creature. Boom, there he is. He's looking at us. Again, he's about that far away, and actually, no, he's on the other side of the prairie. So we're looking at this thing, and let's check out exactly how far. Look at this. So how big does that make this guy? Let's get it centered, and let's take a look. Man, he's behind those pine trees, and there's a coconut tree in here. There's a couple of date palms. We've got saw palmettos, and I measured the average height is between 9 and 11 feet with some 12 to 15 foot sections. But this guy right here, his head, just the size of it, and the fact that the palmettos appear to be the same distance all the way around this place from the perimeter trees, which is about 20 to 25 feet. That makes this thing immense. Let's take a look at it again. You know, you can see it up close. It's a huge Sasquatch creature, and you know, just looking at it, the light is aiding it, you know, and hiding. It's got some movement there. We can see the movement of the nose if we're watching. It's really freaky that, you know, it's right there, and Sean and I are just, you know, into the glare of the sun and struggling to see. Let's crop this out a little bit more, and let's see if we can get this thing to yeah, here we go. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to crop this out a little bit. See, right here you can see here's some symmetry from the creature. Here, watch. We're going to see that squared bone structure right in here. That's the creature as it starts kind of like, you know, coming through the light. That's freaking the camera out. Whoa, you can see that mouth really well right there. Yeah. And it's possible there's other stuff going on. I haven't really looked. I just saw him, and I wanted to take a look. But you can see that he's in there, right there. It's beautiful. And let's put a crop, and we'll move in. And you can see there's this, and this isn't even rendered yet, and it's still incredible. You know, let's pull this in a little bit. There we go. And that should just take a few more seconds, and here we have it. Here he is. Now look right here. It's going to get real clear as we start moving this. The rendering's done, and we've got our Bigfoot creature right there. Here's the primitive man. They're enormous. Welcome to Crypto Reality. I thought, you know, this was really interesting. I was checking out this bird. You know, I like slowing things down, and this thing was really moving. We know it's a bird, obviously, but what's behind it is interesting as well. And as this, whatever it is, looks like a rod, one of these things that they classify as a rod, as it nears this tree, if you watch, there's something that is either shining off of it. It appears to be moving with the rod. Some kind of a round, and it's transparent. So what I'm going to do is try to move and see what we can see here. It looks like we have an orb in the daytime, and I want to try to bring that out right now. So let's see if we can, oh, we can see just a little bit more of you know, it's a little more illuminated, but let's see if we can get a little bit of a glow off of it as well. Yeah, see, we got a little bit more light coming off of it. So what we have is, we have a bird zipping through the frame, being chased by what appears to be a rod, as you can see, comes zipping past right here in front of the tree, and that's one of those real thin stick-like white things, and it has fins on it that go kind of around it. It's almost like a rudder that constantly spins. It's like these things spin through the air. But what we can't see is that at some point there's an orb kind of joining in the chase behind this bird, and we can just make that out. Let's go a little darker, and let's see if we can try to get a little more on this orb. Yeah, now we've got a little tiny bit more. But what we're finding is that there's an unseen world because it's fast. Right now we're looking at one frame, half of a frame per second, and you can barely make that orb out. Here's real time. Did you see it? Let's watch it again. Oh, sorry. Yeah, there are things outside your consciousness all around you. If you watch right here, you can see where it's kind of rising on like a 45-degree angle in front of the little sticks that are coming up by those trees. And I think it's actually like 2 or 3 saplings, but you can just make out the orb in there. And it's interesting because they both seem to be chasing this bird. Like, watch, it's crazy. So the footage is rolling, and then here comes the bird. It looked like something else went by, but the bird's going like 90. And if we slow it down, it's like he's running from things. It's like he's being chased. Like he's really trying to get away from whatever it is that's chasing him. That's interesting in and of itself, because aren't predators usually, isn't this usually in the reverse? Nobody really knows what these are, and that's the interesting aspect of the footage, right? So here we have an unknown to science, rods they call them, right? I have hundreds of clips with these things in them, and I've got clips, probably thousands of these things, you know what I mean? They do definitely exist, and it's apparent in this footage that they give chase to mockingbirds, because as you can plainly see, that's a striped mockingbird. Those are striped mockingbird wings as it flies by. You can see it. It's interesting that there also happens to be what appears to be an orb moving through this particular area, and you can just see there's just a variation in a circumference, in a radius shape, moving up on a 45-degree angle. Very difficult to see in daylight. At night, these puppies glow.